Welcome back to my channel, Life with Travia, and today we're going to talk about life post injury. I already spoke about my life journey. You can take a look at that video. I think it's the second one that I posted, and you'll be able to hear me talk about my experience and the struggles and everything that I went through at that time in details. And post injury is no joke. When you think that going through is hard, post injury is also hard, especially the first few years because you don't know what to expect, what struggles, the experience that you will have because no one tells you exactly, like giving a handbook as to what to expect or what would happen, what to do or anything like that. You expected you go home and you just pick up on life and assume that you will just know what to do, and that isn't the case. Everything for me was a learning curve. I learned as I go. It wasn't like I knew everything on the spot, so I was able to do on the spot. If you look at the video, and when I talk about like I couldn't move anything at all except barely my hands. So it's like I was dependent on everyone to do everything for me at that time. And losing your independence is like as if you're losing yourself too. It's not that you don't appreciate, the people around you doing stuff for you, but of course you will still want to do things for yourself. And adjusting to that life will be something new for anyone who are newly injured. You don't want to feel like you are a burden to anyone, even though you may have a family that is supportive and they're not showing it, because realistically in it their life change as well, not only your one, because their life now has to surround you. Their timing now has to be worked out around you, taking care of you. And for me, my mindset was, this isn't where I wanted to, be, like in a sense. So it's like my mind was just like in, fight mode, so to speak. Oftentimes I say that people always ask me like how I did it, however. And honestly, I don't know. I just was like, this isn't where I wanted to stay. And I just felt like I could do more for myself. And so I wanted that to be the case. And even though I had, persons who were willing to do things, I still wanted to do it for myself. I wanted to be able to relearn how to dress myself, you know, doing my hair, because waiting on people, especially to do that, was, oh, um, just basic things that you just wanted to get back into. So as something you're just sitting there, lying there, just basically seeing what four corners, ceiling. Who wants to keep, doing that? No one. So, for me, I just said, you know what? These are the things that I know that I wanted to do for myself. So it was like, I just had to keep trying to strengthen my body because I was still weak even, after leaving the hospital, and being back home. So I knew that I had to continue, doing therapy. I mean, I should still be doing it, to keep my, body fit, because even though you still are able to do things, it will be still good to still be doing therapy, keeping your body fit so you could still be mobile. Having to relearn how to learn your body now, because no one tells you that it will be totally different. Your features, you will lose a lot of muscle toner because you're not mobile as before. Um, the weather, How are you going to adapt to the weather? Because I literally didn't know that I would have been that cold. I literally didn't know. And I had to figure out why I was being so cold. Like, its sun would literally be outside and I will still be cold until I learned on my own that now that I am in this position, my body temperature would not be the same. If you come by me, my room would literally be locked down. When I say locked down, there's no light coming in, and I am all clothed up. Sometimes I may have on two, three shirts along with a jacket, and you're like, you're not hot, and I'll be like, no, because now that my body has changed, this is what now I have to deal with. When the weather change, I literally know when the rain is going to fall before it even comes. My body will just get a little chill. Sometimes I will get shaking and just start to get a little shiver, and I know that rain is about to fall. Having to learn now your new body and the things that you will have to wear. Not saying that you can't wear some of the things like before, but it's a struggle, especially with jeans. I have like a love-hate relationship when it comes to jeans because it's all of the pulling and the tugging, and I just can't deal with it. If I do, it would just be sometimes one, I wear once, and then how goes it? Because as I said, it's the lot of twisting, turning. I can't deal with that. So for me, I had to figure out what would be easier for me to wear, and I preferred, more like stretch jeans. It would be like up, up, and it goes a little easier than the jeans. For one, they don't make them like they used to, where they be able to come straight up over your butt crack, and sometimes that would be out, and then having to move around sometimes yourself, and then you're moving yourself off the bed or probably in a chair and you're dressing yourself, and it does not come up the way that it should. And I've heard of people with that experience, and then their butt is actually out in the pants. So I'm like, nope, as long as it's not stretched, if I can find one that is not stretched, you won't see me in jeans on a regular. You won't at all. And maybe sometimes you even wonder if you see me why. That is the reason why. I don't want to be that person. If when I'm out, I'm wondering if my pants is up the way it should, because when you're moving around things get moving. So I try to make sure that it is something that is going to come up. If I start to put it on and then I realize that it's not coming up the way it's supposed to, then it is changing time, something else. And for me, it was also the material. Certain materials I don't like on my skin. For some reason, some of them itches. Clothing do matter. It is best to wear clothes that are breathable. Remember you're sitting, for quite a while. Sometimes you don't know how long, so it's best to get that kind of clothing, something that's breathable, that air could help circulate. Um, the least you want is anything rubbing on your skin, especially when you don't know what is happening. Nothing that is gonna, scrape. I'm not saying that things don't happen, but to prevent it, to try and prevent it, you try to wear something that is smooth rather than something rough that is going to rub against your skin and cause other problems. You may be sitting, you shift now and then to release the pressure, so you don't develop any pressure sores, because that could even create a bigger problem. Those are things that you will have to learn along the way. Even lying on the bed, you know, sometimes we may be there for a long hour and, we don't want to move, but the best thing to do, is move so we could make that shift, to release the pressure off of one side, onto the next and so forth. That also, does help. And you're always here, keep your body fit, keep your hands going, because you now have to depend on that upper body strength. And it's only when you're in it, you know exactly as to what they mean when they keep telling you that. Transferring yourself or to your chair, to your bed, sofa, whatever it is, even in a vehicle, is a task all by itself. And those are things that you would have to know relearn to do, because obviously you can't just walk in, or you can't just walk and sit down. You can't walk and just go and lay down. So you have to do that now by using your hands to transfer yourself. And sometimes you may fall doing any of those transfer, and it may not be something that you could prevent. Sometimes it may be your hands maybe get tired and you slip, or it may be something on your wheel that may cause you also to lose that balance, or something for whatever reason, because those are things that are going to happen. The hardest struggle is getting back into your chair. That is the hardest struggle. Has it happened to me? Oh yes, it has. And I had to literally scoot myself. And all the time in my mind I kept saying, good thing I can move my hands and I can move whatever needs to be moved in order for me to do this, because if I couldn't, I would have literally have to stay where I was. And I had to scoot myself because my tiles was slippery at the time. For whatever reason, I don't even remember. So I had to scoot myself into the living room and get myself onto the sofa. Yes, it wasn't an easy task. Get myself onto the sofa and then back into my chair. Sometimes you hear people's stories and say that they do fall, and you think that, oh, that's not going to be me. Don't believe it. Do not believe it, because it can be you. Like I said, for different reasons, it can be you. And the best thing is to do is to know how to get yourself back into your chair. And it will take time. It will take time. You have to have that strength, and it's not going to happen overnight. Anyone could tell you who does it on a regular, it's not going to happen overnight. It's practice, practice, practice. Sometimes you yourself have to take yourself onto the floor and see what works for you to get it done. In this life now that you have to adjust to, it's all about practicing to see what best suits you, what works for you, and work with what works for you. People are gonna give you all the tips and all the advice. You may watch, videos and see it as well, and you want to try it their way. But if it don't work their way, try to find an avenue that will work for you. Nothing is wrong is what in watching others do things. But that's sometimes how we learn, and you just have to find what works for you. That would be the best solution. And even if you watch something and you can do it their way, then fine, you do it their way, because everyone injury isn't the same, and so you have to find different ways in doing it. Everything won't happen at once. You will learn things gradually, and still you will still even be in the learning stage as you still go along. You will still be figuring out what best to do, what best to use. What works for someone may not work for you. You will just have to find what works for you and adapt with that now to suit you. Sometimes we look at people, especially those who are in wheelchairs, and think that we are all the same, and we are not. Everyone's situation is different. Persons are in a wheelchair for different reasons. Accident, as my case was, it might be to an illness, some type of sickness, as to you may see someone in a wheelchair. It may be probably that person was there, from what, maybe a gunshot or something. Everyone is different, and we all take things different. It may even take us longer than some to adjust. Everyone mindset isn't the same, and you shouldn't be hard on people when you see them and say, well, oh, this person was like that, or that person was like that. Everyone is different, and we all take things differently. you know there are persons that may be just like you, who may not be able to move as they would like to, and it's not that it is because they don't want to, but at the time their situation don't allow them. And trust me, if you feel the need that you would want to be able to do things for yourself, look at someone who isn't able to, and they are thinking it. It's just that the position that they are in right now, they will want the circumstances to be different. And, going through life, that doesn't mean that they have probably given up, as some of you may think. Is the environment. You would need someone to push you. We all need someone to motivate. You need some motivation somehow or the other, especially when you're going through hard times. And when you don't have that, you know, you in the back of your mind, you'll be like, where were all these people that were here when it was good? But now that it's bad, you don't see anyone. And that sometimes even makes people more depressed when they are going through certain situations. They feel like they can't depend on no one anymore. They were always there for everyone, and now that I am like this, there's no one in my corner anymore. And sometimes people feel useless. You often hear, people say that person has a life, but didn't that same person that used to be there for you had a life also, but just know that they're put in a different circumstance where now they may need your little encouragement, your little, motivation push. Why can't you at least do that? That's basically what some of them are asking. Sometime may weigh on their mind. I used to do a lot. Not sometimes you're looking back for things in return, but you're going through something different now in your life. This is a different change. It's not something that you expected, or you say, oh, this is going to happen to me today. No. So why can't you now in return show that person what they really meant to you at the time by being there for them. That's all some of them are asked for. That's all. And it doesn't take a lot to do that. Sometimes a simple call, a simple text, a simple visit, nothing is wrong. Some people will be like, I don't want to see that person in that state or whatever. But you don't know if you go, um, what kind of upliftment that you can be to that person within that state. As you may say, you may be the person that will make the day just for that day. If you know someone, go and visit them. Don't wait. Life right now is too short. Don't worry about seeing them in whatever you think you're going to see them in. Sometimes you go and it may surprise you. So, just go, and you may very well be that upliftment that they need by just seeing you. So I hope that this video has helped in any way. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for when I upload my videos.